Hello, welcome to the first and only audio edition of this brand new podcast. Now, I am prolific for creating podcasts at this point. I make so many podcasts. Like I have eight podcasts, this is podcast number 9, but I do have 16 YouTube channels. Now this channel, as you're watching it on YouTube, is TGM Production, which is my production company that I hope to take even further in the future. But to settle it down as a production company on my website that is currently still in development, I have to showcase in development, but in a sense of that hasn't worked in the way I wanted it to. So this podcast will have to fill that void, but it means that I can talk freely about the projects I'm working on, the channel ideas and video ideas and podcasts and all the stuff that a production company deals with in its day-to-day working life. So currently I'm working on a microphone, but I will be talking about equipment. So if you're watching on Spotify and on YouTube, you'll be able to see the equipment I'm using. I'll be able to talk about equipment and how I've been getting interviews and locations and whatnot for the stuff I'm recording, not just for all of the stuff I do is for YouTube originally, but sometimes, like, I made a music video that was for my college work, but I wanted it on YouTube, but then copyright and all this, so I couldn't put it on YouTube. And so it's that type of stuff that I'll talk about the insight into how I work in the mind of Tom Mason, and I'll talk about the stuff I'm writing, the other stuff I'm doing, and I've just realised, because I'm in another room that I'm not normally recording this, because it's where I keep most of my equipment, I found a Canon battery on charge. So I'll just get that off charge. So I am hoping to use this microphone more than I'm using now with the thing, but I'm going to Google when I get back downstairs. I'm currently upstairs. I'm currently watching a fantastic program on BritBox, a carry case type pocket thing, so I can latch it on whilst I'm walking and talking. I don't need it in a pocket, but I'm learning how to use different equipment, like the Rode equipment and the Rode microphones goes. So on this podcast, it'll be like, what's Tom Mason doing on all 16 of his YouTube channels? How's his website going? What's he doing on his 9 podcast? What stuff is he working on that it hasn't mentioned anywhere else? And when are things coming out on? And how does Tom work in the sense of his mind, his brain, the working of Tom's, the TGM Productions, and how did the production company come about? And is it too late to rename the production company? The thoughts, the feelings, the worries, the mayhem, the madness, the ideas, the reason why he bought stuff that might not seem useful now but is useful in the future. So, TGM Productions podcast is just a way for me to do in development, which is what I was already doing, but just in a podcast format that's less forgetting that I'm filming this over a month. I can just film this once a month or whenever I feel like there's enough content to talk about and just stuff I can reveal for projects I'm working on. So, welcome to TGM Productions, the podcast. This is the only episode of the podcast that will ever, and I'll repeat, ever be audio only, as I came up with this idea too late in the day to set up and record the actual video side of it. So I'm just podcasting this in an audio sense. I'll have to edit this on my laptop. So, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube. And so TGM Productions podcast. TGM Productions podcast. Coming soon to all major podcast platforms.